In the field updates on Market Journal are supported by the Nebraska Corn Board.
We begin by checking in on some of the crops here in the region. Brandon Hunnicutt is a row crop producer near Gilton, Nebraska. We're able to catch up with him out here at the Nebraska State Fair to learn a little bit more about his operation and how those crops are looking. Tell me about the operation back there by Gilton, Brandon.
Yeah, so like you said, we're in Gilton, Nebraska, so we're about 20 minutes from the state fair, which is really nice. And it's my dad, my brother, and I. We raise corn and soybeans. Sometimes we raise some popcorn. Everything's irrigated, and it's been a great year.
How are the crops looking as we sit here in August?
The crops are actually looking really well this year. Coming into this spring, I will say we were pretty concerned. We were kind of planning for the repeat of 23, and then late April we started getting rain. So everything's looking really, really good right now. We've missed the weather so far in our area. So it's after last year, everything looks good.
Pivots still running at this point?
It's been one of the fun things is that our pivots, they are running, but right now today they're off because we got a little freak shower the other night. We've only been running the pivots a handful of times versus last year, which was, I think, felt like 27 straight months of running pivots, and so this year we're way down. We're probably more of a normal pattern.
Yep. The surprise, I guess, has been the weather has cooperated. How about other challenges you might have encountered during the growing season? Any pests or particular diseases give you some challenges?
We've been pretty lucky from the pests and the diseases challenges up to this point. We treated all our corn with fungicide. There was some disease coming in, but we've started to notice late that there's probably the fungicide's running its course, so now we're getting some lake pressure coming in, and I don't think it'll be a problem, but you always get that, oh no, what's happening, but we learn to manage through it.
Yep. Well, kind of on that note, there's always new technology on display at things like the State Fair upcoming at Husker Harvest Days. Anything in particular that you all have been able to implement on your operation over the past few years that has made a difference for growing crops?
I think every year we're always trying something new, something different, whether is there something we can add on to the planter or to the sprayer, to the combine, whatever that might be. How can we implement, we've been trying to figure out how to implement more AI into the process, more of predictive analysis. We're not getting very far with that, but one of the things we did this year was we implemented a couple permanent water sensors in the ground, because we've used water moisture sensors for 17, 18 years, and we keep increasing them. And this year we've got a couple permanent ones in that are giving us a whole lot of better data on what's actually going on, root growth, what's going on through the growing season. And so that's going to be one really interesting to see as we move forward.
How important, in your mind, based on conversations you're having with various vendors, I'm sure, how important is data to the ag producer today?
I think data is highly important. The challenge becomes is how we're going to utilize that data, because we have a lot of it. Whether it's from the planter or yield data all the way up to the pivot data. But it becomes vitally important in trying to make that next decision to see what actually worked, what didn't work. Are there some changes we need to make? What are we missing? What are we learning? Especially when I'll use irrigation again, is what is the timing of that irrigation? How does that relate to yield and relate to other stresses that might be out there?
Starting to see some choppers in very southern portions of Nebraska beginning to make their way north for feedlots and dairies alike. For you all, when does harvest typically begin?
I told some guys the other day that we're probably starting right around that, I'll just say the 10th of October with corn. Soybeans will be a little sooner, but we don't have very many soybeans this year, so that'll be fairly simple. And sometime in that October time frame, and hopefully everything works well and we can just roll right through it.
Now, Brandon, as I mentioned, you're out here at the Nebraska State Fair today helping out with the beef pit as you're a farmer leader as part of the Nebraska Corn Board. Continue to do opportunities like that, I'm sure. Recently elected president of the Nebraska Corn Board. Why do you serve as a farmer leader?
Part of the reason to serve is just to give back to the other farmers. There have been a lot of opportunities that's been presented to me and feel like I need to be able to give back. But one of the other more important things is that as we're working with Nebraska Corn, whether it's on the checkoff side or the association side, and then through our partners like U.S. Grains Council, USMEF, and NCGA, what is it we can learn and what is it we can bring back to help spread awareness to other farmers, making sure that we're developing those markets that they need, that we're being able to pass on to the next generation the farms that we want to and help with any of the questions they may have.
You to serve on the state side, but also you've spent time on the national side. What's been the most rewarding aspect of that?
I think the most rewarding is, one is meeting the other farmers and especially when we're looking at the national side, just saying, hey, what's going on in other parts of the country, learning, being able to meet individuals that you most normally want to get the chance to meet. From the international side, to seeing some of those missions we've gone on, trade missions, to present what goes on in Nebraska, so our buyers overseas understand what we do here and how important and high quality our crop is.